Welcome back, everyone, to this episode of Water Polo Wednesday. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a call to action for everyone to come out and represent at National League Finals, April 25th to 27th, just under a month away. We are so thrilled to be bringing you the latest updates, schedule, and happenings for National League Finals. We've got two great guests of opposing teams joining the show at the same time, so that should be fun. There's a ton to break down, discuss, and go over right here on this episode of Water Polo Wednesday.
Here we go, everyone. Welcome back to Water Polo Wednesday with Wes and Clay.
I'm Wes.
And I'm Clay. It's National League Finals prep from here on out. We've completed 4 full weekends, so we're excited to talk about that. But be sure to follow us on YouTube and Spotify as we begin to break down all the amazing things to come in our sport. Let's dive into what's to come, the final standings, and the playoff brackets and schedule.
Yeah, man, alive. Here we go. What an exciting time to be alive, Clay. So first off, another great weekend of polo, weekend 4, a lot of high-level play. CBU pushed the Olympic Club to the brink and then had it in them to take down LA Athletic Club. A nice win for CBU there. USA Pipeline then took Olympic Club down, who had played CBU earlier in the day. And I'll tell you what, that CBU team, man, they're in their 20 hours. The fitness shows. They just wore down Olympic Club big time. By the time Olympic Club got to the Pipeline team, they were gassed. They look completely flat. As we have said all season, it matters when you play a team. If you look at the top 4 or 5 teams, of the top 4 teams, 3 have a loss. Those losses all coming after really intense games, either the day of or the night before. So Nyack loses to O Club after a burner the night before against the junior team. O Club loses to the junior team after getting pushed to the brink against CBU. And LA Athletic Club loses to Mission in weekend 1 after they had a game of the week that first weekend the night before. Mission, the only team unscathed there, hence why they're number 1. So let's go and let's check out the final standings and playoff schedule, shall we?
Okay, so you got the final rankings coming up here. I would love to know how this was determined and why these teams are where they are.
Sure. Let me pull up our chart here. All right, so here we go.
Yep.
I'm gonna pause it. There we go. Okay, so Mission gets the 1 seed, and the way that these rankings work is that they took the best overall team, which was clearly Mission, only undefeated team all season. All right, so they were in the North Conference, so they get the 1 seed. Then they alternate, right? So number 1 on the South Conference was O Club, and then so they'll take the 2 seed Mission. Then it comes back to the North Conference. That's LA Athletic Club at the 2nd place, and then New York Athletic Club 2nd place in the South Conference, and so on and so forth. The Pipeline gets dropped down to 6th because it gets a little bit complicated with these athletes kind of playing for both teams.
Right, yeah, the Olds playing for Nyack,
and
you have
junior
the
team,
Dodd
playing for Mission.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, Mission never played Olympic Club. O Club and Nyack never played LA Athletic Club. So this sets up in a way that you have some really incredible semifinals if things stay consistent, if things go chalk. The rankings in conference were based on conference play only. So basically, conference play only is what matters for playoffs, and then everything else is effectively exhibition.
That was those first 2 weekends of play.
Those were the conference play, right? Yeah. The junior team, again, a little bit of a special case, and because rotating players, Aiden Romaine was with us, Ryder Ryan and Connor Ohl played junior team in Nyack. Ryder Dodd played with Mission, so on and so forth. And so that's, which honestly, that's about where they should be. They won't have Ryder Dodd, Ben Lathy, Pete Castillo, and Bodie Brinkman. I think the stats came out today, and Pete Castillo is like all world. He's got more exclusions than like anybody, and on just one team. You combine the two, I think he's more than double everybody else. So, so for finals weekend, those guys will all be with Mission.
Got it. This makes a lot more sense now. Appreciate the clarity, because I'm sure there'll be questions, because I had questions. Talk us through the schedule itself then, and as this shakes out, and any games that you think will be especially interesting.
Yeah, so this is the schedule, or I should say how the bracket's set up. So Mission at 1, Oak Club at 2, LA at 3, Nyack at 4. Okay, and there's going to be a play-in effectively, and these are going to be Friday night games. So Long Beach will take on Riptide in a Friday night game, April 25th. The Pipeline team will take on Channel Islands, which that I think that's going to be a very good game. I think Channel Islands will have all their college guys. They will have been trained together for some time, and I think that Pipeline team will. I think that's going to be a very good game. They could blow them out, but look, I think that's going to be a very good game. You have Anteater and Channel Cats, and then you have Sunset and Trojan. And Trojan and Mission will be coming off 20 hours. In fact, Mission will still be in 20 hours during that time. Trojan will finish their 20 hours on Thursday, the 24th. And so they'll have that game Friday. And that's going to be interesting because as we saw, fitness is really important. Okay. Now, teams 1 through 4, Mission, Oak Club, LA, and Nyack will get a first round bye. And again, those first round games will be played Friday. They're working out the location of those games. In terms of great games to watch, I think they're all going to be good. That Trojan, I think Trojan should roll there, but the Pipeline team with Channel Islands again is going to be really interesting. You know, I could see Long Beach and Riptide having a good game. I really like this Long Beach team, though.
Riptide's had some good games.
They have.
Howell's been having himself a good time.
He has. The Long Beach team is sneaky. They're sneaky good. A lot of Spaniards on that team. They play good team ball, work really well together. A lot of those guys have been playing together for some time, right? So you see that with some of these guys that kind of come to the same school. So really exciting to see this. We're stoked to bring this to you. Like the fact that we get to break this news is awesome. A lot of gratitude goes out to the committee there at USA Water Polo in the National League. So thank you.
Yeah, awesome first round matchups. It's going to be very exciting first day. And you know, those first game buys are important, as we've learned over the course of these last weekends, where teams that get tired early, sometimes there's consequences to that, but it kind of adds to the drama of the whole thing. So love it. It's going to be very exciting. We're waiting to find out the times of all these games. We know they're at Mt Sac Aquatics Center.
Yeah.
Do you know if it's just one pool, Wes, or if there'll be a secondary pool for these?
Yeah, good question. So what I have kind of learned is that there will be kind of one pool of games going on for the kind of bigger games, if you will. And so quarterfinals will probably have 2 pools, is my guess. My understanding is that potentially national team selection camp could go on in the afternoon, okay, at Mt Sac in the diving pool. And what that would do would be allow for those athletes and their families to watch the games, which is look, it's really important. I think we are so programmed in this country of play. Growing up in Eastern Europe and in Hungary and playing in Hungary, when there was a Champions League game or a really big matchup, you didn't do anything after 12 p.m. or 1 p.m. There were no practices, no games for youth. We would go and watch. And the stands would be full every Saturday when these things would occur. And so it's important that parents and players watch. There's a ton you can learn by watching. And so I from what I understand is that they're trying to make that work. I don't know if that's confirmed as of yet. So it is what it is in terms of the pool setup. In terms of kind of Mt Sac, I want to touch on this. This is an amazing facility. If you've never been there, it looks like a water polo cathedral, I would call it. Right. And we don't have a lot of those here in the States where it's like set up for big time fans. It's going to be Saturday and Sunday. We'll be at Mt Sac. We are actually hoping for 5,000 people to be there. Follow me through this. Tickets are going to be free for everyone. Okay. So general seating tickets are going to be free. They're working on a VIP area. If you would like to buy kind of center pool VIP, seats there. I'm also told they're working on having concessions of some kind. Potentially music, DJ, giveaways. The commissioner of the league, Tom Davis, is pushing really hard to make this a world-class event. It's been great to see and be a part of thus far, just kind of understanding what's going on with the league. And as we've seen, this league has been the most competitive it's ever been. And I think this is a really amazing opportunity. The quarterfinal matchups and the semifinal matchups will take place on Saturday morning and evening, respectively. This is going to be the highest level of water polo ever experienced in the United States for men outside of the Olympic Games. And here's why I say this, okay? I put together a list, and this is inconclusive. Let me be very clear with you. This is inconclusive. There's more than this out there. You have Denis Varga, who's a 5-time Olympian. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've never seen Denis Varga play live, this is likely the last opportunity you are ever going to have.
Anyone in the world might have.
Right. This is it. Ryder Dodd is an Olympian. Chase Dodd, Olympian. Johnny Hooper, Olympian. Alex Wolff, Olympian. Hannes Daube, I'm told, is coming back from Australia. He's an Olympian. You've got Ben Lathy, who's part of Team USA. Andras Toth at Hungary. Botan Balo, Hungary. Samu Biros, Hungary. Marcel Seichi, part of Hungary. These are players that are going to Junior Worlds and World Championships this summer. Tico Carcelade on mission from Brazil. Luca Provenciani. Chase McFarland was part of the junior team. Bernardo Herzer is part of the USA team. Robert Lopez Duarte, part of the Spanish team. He's trying for Junior Worlds this year. Max Casabella played in the World Cup with Spain. The entire pipeline team are guys from the Junior Worlds team, right? Like, ladies and gentlemen, there is not a higher level opportunity to observe and take part in that you may ever experience in your entire lifetime. Right? Like, Denis Varga has never played here before like this. This is huge to have him. It's enormous that Ryder and Chase are still playing together, right? That Hooper is with the Olympic Club. This is an unbelievable opportunity, not to mention Andrei Grigorevich and Luka Kristic, who are Australians, who are likely going to be with the Australian team this summer. I don't know for sure. I know they're part of that system. But like, and again, I'm missing a ton here. The entire pipeline team, I just wrote entire pipeline team because I was running out of space. And it's incredible what this is becoming, okay? You're going to see these guys all summer long. And I hope we blow this thing out. Tell your friends. It's incredible water polo. Incredible environment. Mt. Sac is beautiful. If you have any interest in helping promote this league, a professional league, if you have any desire to prove that this sport can be bigger than it actually is in our country today, right? We need to come together as a community to support this event, to prove to media outlets, to prove to potential investors, to prove to the athletes that the country is behind growing our sport. You need to come to National League Finals, Saturday, April 26th, Sunday, April 27th at Mt. Sac. We are going to be ringing this bell for the next 5 weeks. It's a month away. We're going to be ringing it every week. So I'm pumped. I'm like sweating now. I'm so excited about this because, like, truthfully, like, this is just such a unique opportunity, and there's more to come. There's a lot of cool things that are going to be coming up, and being a part of this event that we're, a lot of people are putting a lot of effort towards. We got to reward that. We got to show the world that we're serious about water polo.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Amen.
I get going on
Amen.
this, man, and it's exciting.
I just want to cut you off. Like, this is just, I agree with you. It is so important for the community to rally around this. And look, like, everyone has had the thought in their head or has said it, like, why don't people like do more to help grow the sport? Why doesn't this organization do more? Why doesn't this person do that? We all have to look at ourselves in any given situation and ask, what can I be doing to help or to make a change? And we can tell you that one of the most impactful things that you can do for the growth of our sport at the highest level is to show up on deck at Mt. Sac for National League Finals. If we have any hope of a professional, or this to grow into like a true professional league in the United States, it needs attendance, it needs spectators. Because if y'all don't really care, then like, that's fine. But we don't, like, if there's no audience for it, like, what are we going to do? But if you really want there to be a pro league and you are an advocate for that and you wish that someone would do something about it, that's you. Show up to Mt. Sac, April 26th and 27th. That's a Saturday and Sunday, Mt. Sac, around Diamond Bar, East Los Angeles area. All right. I mean, Denis Varga, I think we beat a dead horse here. So, feeding a fed horse.
Yeah,
here.
That horse is never going to die. That horse is never going to get full. This is unbelievable. This is Superman. This is LeBron James going to play in Greece, right? This is insane.
Yeah. So again, proving that we really care about the sport, its success, it's imperative that we all show up. Wes, back to the potential schedule here. We were in, the men's and women's season. We sometimes do a little forecasting of results. Do you foresee any big upsets here?
Well, I mean, you're gonna have to define an upset. I think any team can win any of these games.
I agree.
I wouldn't be shocked. Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if Long Beach is in the finals. I could see that happening. That would not surprise. It wouldn't surprise me if Trojan were in the finals, coming off their 20 hours.
Yep.
Right. Like, to me, so we learned something this last weekend. Fitness matters. As if we didn't know that. CBU doing what they did to Olympic Club and then subsequently beating LA Athletic Club because they were in such great shape. Like, that matters. It really matters. And where these athletes are physically, which, mind you, they have 1 month, which is not, well, when you're younger, it's enough. It might be enough time. It's not enough time for me. I need about a year, right? It is a labor of love. It is a passion. It is an undying fire to get into the shape you need to compete at this level. I can tell you right now, I get video clips every single week from Dennis Varga's coach, who was a former teammate of mine, of Dennis Varga training. That's how serious he's taking this. And guys, if a 38-year-old 5-time Olympian is taking it this seriously, everybody should be. Right? From everybody, from the fans to the players to the coaches to the referee, like, everybody should be taking this as one of the greatest opportunities in the history of our sport. There's just no question in my mind. I think as we've grown older, this fitness thing is really key. And so I think look for Trojan to be dangerous. Look for the junior team, that USA Pipeline team, and CIU to be dangerous. Long Beach can be very dangerous. We've seen good things out of Riptide. You love to see it. Mission's always dangerous, right? It's going to be great games. It's hard. It's hard to break down, because it's not everybody has played everybody at full strength, right? So
right.
What do you look at it as? Not every team has had the same, nobody's had the same roster every single weekend.
Yeah.
Right. And so you don't really know. I know there's 1 through 4, but you really don't know what you're going to get, which is the uncertainty is what makes this so exciting.
Well, this is very reminiscent of, as we were leading up to the MPSF tournament and the NC2A finals. This is the first time ever where I felt that kind of energy around National League that was truly comparable to that energy. And like you said, we're not always seeing all these teams at full strength. You better believe every team is bringing it this weekend, and everyone wants it. They're hungry. Yeah. They're hungry to win this league. It's so exciting to see. I love how all this is coming together.
Yeah, I learned something through MPSF finals because I was on the MPSF call, right?
I do know.
USC loses to Stanford and UCLA each twice in the regular season. They lost to them. They didn't beat either of those teams. Okay? Then they come in and they whoop up on Stanford in the semifinal, and they whoop up on UCLA in the MPSF final, and they guarantee themselves a berth. And that was a different team than we saw all year.
Totally.
And I can tell you, USC's been kind of cruising, and they're getting into their 20 hours, and they're going to be ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I know Long Beach is doing the same. I know all those junior guys are training a ton with the junior team in their college. Yep. They're getting more work. And UCLA, bro, what do you, the standard is the standard, as they say. Adam Wright loves that. The standard is the standard. It doesn't matter what month of the year it is. That's the standard. And they uphold a level of excellence that is frankly unparalleled. They're the most consistent team in the last 10 years in terms of wins. So that's what I'm saying. This is exciting, man. It's really.
Yeah. So now we get a bit of a break from the games for a few weeks. If you're around Stockton, the Pacific Cup is coming up April 12th, where a few of these teams will be competing. We know Coach Graham likes to put on a show, so stop on by. Now, in theme with our National League Finals buildup, we have 2 guests from 2 different teams, something a little different here. Joining us first, Colin Mulcahy, the captain, the longstanding captain of Olympic Club, and Eric Carnahan, the head coach of the Los Angeles Athletic Club, right after this. Okay, as promised, here we are with the, I guess, primary forces, or some of them, behind Olympic Club and the LA Athletic Club. Colin Mulcahy, who has been a long-standing personality and powerhouse for the Olympic Club. Remember very fondly, well, depending on the game, playing against Colin, an amazing athlete. There's a couple that have been here since the beginning. He's one of them. Eric Carnahan from LA Athletic Club, also been playing in the league since the beginning, now in his second year as head coach, I believe, for the LA Athletic Club. Thank you guys for joining us.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Stoked to be here.
Yeah, this is, as we all know, a very different format from previous years. Typically, we found that National League has been kind of a glorified, an extended tournament rather than more of a league format. Colin, very curious of your current experience and that of the Olympic Club program of this year's National League.
I think it's been really good. Like you said, I've been kind of doing this since the beginning. I think my senior year of college was 2015. That was the first year they did National League. And so that year, and this is sort of the theme of National League, there's been a bunch of different structures over the years, and that year and many other years they've sort of had combinations of different colleges and all-star teams that were sponsored by the USA national team. And in some years they've done that, and some years they haven't done that, and some years college teams have played, and some years they haven't. And so through all those different forms, there's been all these variations of National League, and this year has sort of been a more structured and sort of good combination of all those years previously, where we still have those, pipeline teams where it's, those national team guys that are trying to make a U20 roster or whatever it may be in that given year, plus all the college teams that are sort of more, I guess, all the way in to National League than they maybe have been in the past, where, we got to root around all the different hour restrictions as well. So I say all that to get to the point of, it's been a really good league so far, and I've loved having everyone sort of be bought in from the beginning and had a lot of great teams rather than sort of a smaller league where maybe a little bit more top heavy. And again, that changes year to year, but it's been really cool to see all the great games, all the great clubs. There's a lot of good clubs now in the colleges, and everybody sort of get good competition on a week to week basis. And it's all going to sort of come to a close at a great weekend at Mount Sac, where we'll have a lot of great games. So it's been great.
Yeah. Definitely no safe games this year. You never really know what's going to happen. Eric, what about your experience so far?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with Colin than everything he just touched on. Colin and I, as you guys know, have been in this since literally year one, and we have been in the trenches fighting to help make the league better and better and better every single year that we can. This is the first year that it really, to me, at least personally, like where it really feels like a true league, where everybody has 100% buy-in, and clubs like, obviously Olympic Club, the New York Athletic Club have been staples forever. The LA Athletic Club has become more of a staple in more recent years. And then, the buy-in of the universities. Look, Mission is the top team in the league right now, and that's a university team that's really, really cool to see. And then that LA Athletic Club, we had wars with, Long Beach, USC, Riverside. Really tough games for us at LAAC, and that's all we could ask for. And very pumped on the playoffs for sure. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and speaking of playoffs, guys, like you guys are set up to be kind of semifinal.
The norm. This is what we do. We find
what we do, right? Find a way. But you've got to get through it. Look, like
Got to win a quarterfinal first.
Right. Olympic Club, it's lining up. You're going to be either Riptide or Long Beach. I would assume Long Beach is a good team. They're going to be training. They're going to be in 20 hours. LA Athletic Club will line up against Channel Islands or the junior team, the USA Pipeline team. both good teams. Channel Islands will have all their college guys. The Pipeline team, don't believe they'll have the UCLA guys because they'll be with Mission. So that should be a pretty good kind of play in, if you will. Talk to us, guys, about the approach. Right, it's 3 games in basically 2 days, like 36 hours or so. It's a lot of water polo in a short period of time for you old men, knowing that those days are behind me. But like, talk to us, Eric. Why don't you talk to us about the approach and kind of like the mindset, right, as you go into this as a coach, and then love to hear from Colin as a player.
Yeah, well, I think Colin nailed it on the head right there, right? We were talking about semifinals before quarterfinals, right? But that obviously can't be the approach going in. Either CIU or the junior team, whoever wins that game is going to be a really tough opponent, right? If CIU can pull it together and beat the junior team, well, then like they're going to be coming in hot and feeling really confident against us. And look, the LA Athletic Club, regardless of what our rosters have been every weekend, we have yet to, have our full team fully together. We've took some losses, right? We've got some black eyes, and we haven't been able to come together truly together in a weekend yet. And so that's going to be the theme for the LA Athletic Club is, can we actually complete a weekend, right? I think our best weekend is 2-1 every single time. We always find a way to lose that last game of the weekend, and that's not going to win us a finals. So it all starts out with that quarterfinal, regardless of who we see, and coming out hot, aggressively, very, very focused. And I mean, primarily defense, right, has been where most of our mistakes have been made. But I'm feeling really good about it. I'm happy we're going in with some cuts and bruises and black eyes as the LA Athletic Club, because a lot of our guys coming off the bench have gotten a lot more minutes over the last few weeks, and their minutes are going to be really important in these games coming up, and they're going to be more prepared for it. So looking forward to it, definitely.
Colin, you seem to be ageless, so whatever you eat, I'd love to learn about that.
It's better at water.
Yeah, it's kind of
it's
insane.
Actually wild.
it's we've all admired from a distance your fountain of youth. You continue to perform at a very elite level. Olympic Club practices probably more than any other team, right? Together, how has that helped you guys this year? And talk to us about your approach as a player. Going into the finals there.
We do train. We got a great group up in San Francisco. We play Monday and Wednesday nights, and it's a great way to sort of stay in shape. And I think anyone that's been to our practices knows that it's certainly not a master's practice. Like, you got a bunch of high testosterone, really pissed off dudes coming off work that want to get in the water and bash. So we have great practices, and that's certainly a large majority of our guys that are up here in SF. But we obviously got guys down in SoCal that have either lived in the Bay Area before and moved down there, or just wanted to be a part of OC and sort of made the sacrifice to do so. Thinking about Paulie Reynolds and Hoopers down in LA and Grove, and just a bunch of great guys down there. So you think about showing up for a weekend like that. To me, it's about being in shape, and like, we have a very sort of specific style of water polo, I think, that the OC has been accustomed to playing in the last, 8, 9 years, 10 years since I've been playing. And it's like fast polo, hard nosed, all that stuff. But you can only play that type of water polo if you're in shape and if you're grinding. So, the season is long for us, where, we're working, we have lives, girlfriends, wives, kids, all that good stuff. But everybody cares. We want to put a good product in the pool. We want to show up to these weekends and be sort of as professional as you could possibly be. And again, all that sort of roots down to, are you staying in shape? Are you grinding? Are you lifting? Getting things done on your own in the small amount of time that you have as an adult in this world. But, we feel like over the next month or so, we should get there and hopefully be able to, again, like Eric said, people come in, go throughout the weekends. We got to have a full group for the final weekend, all in shape. And then we go out and play OC water polo and see where the cards fall. So it'll be great.
So I have to ask the question here. Dennis Varga is playing for the Los Angeles Athletic Club, Colin. What does that do for the sport, for the league? And is that exciting to you, or are you just kind of like, pound sand, like I'm ready to bash? I'm just kind of curious, right? Like I'm just curious of the reaction.
It can be both, right?
Two things can be true. Sure. Yeah.
Two things can be true. I don't know. Like, we've had this stuff is we've had this in USA Water Polo for a long time. I remember senior nationals when I was at Cal, and we were around the New York Athletic Club, and they had Faluga, Peroni, and I think Radu was there. Whatever, they had guys like Felipe Peroni is my favorite player in the world. I think he's the best player around. Like, get to play with him in the pool. Like, that's an amazing thing to see alive. We've all traveled internationally, seen people play in the flesh. Like, that's a whole different experience. But at the end of the day, like, I'm a polo player. Our team has played abroad, played professionally. We got Olympians on our team, Hooper, whatever. Like, we'll go out and bash. So, I mean, great to have him there. Stoked to see him play. We're going to do our best. We're going to bash. So,
I love that. Clay, what you got?
It's a little bit of a different format. Like, a lot of polo is here in Southern California. We've had a lot of the formats of past national leagues. There's been like a trading off of NorCal weekend and then SoCal weekends. I guess I'd like to hear from your perspective, like what that experience is like, being like more of a traveling team, because I think you, more than most of the other clubs, are having to travel a little bit more, and that lifestyle and how that might kind of impact that club atmosphere. I think it might even draw you guys closer together.
yeah, I mean, I think the general structure has been relatively the same for the last many, many years, really the entirety of National League. We've added weekends now, which is great for more polo, more competition. Great. Also, like for the college kids to get more games while they're in the grind of swimming every day. Like, I would have killed to like not be at Speaker Aquatics Center all day, swimming at 6:15 in the morning with no game in sight. Like, to be able to have competition where you're actually touching a yellow ball and playing, that's amazing. So like, I'm glad that there's more competition. You know, we're very, very busy adults. Like, we cannot be in Orange County 5-6 weekends out of the year and like field a great team. We could field teams, but they're not going to be like, people just got stuff going on. And so we would have loved, there was an original plan to have sort of Northern California competition where, we could be there on a Saturday, play 1-2 games against the Stanford Cal clubs, whatever. And that was a really exciting sort of idea. Didn't end up coming to fruition, which is totally fine. We'll do what we do every year, which is carve out, 3 weekends, one a month, to get down to OC and go play some awesome games, stay in shape for those, and be ready to go for the finals. So it is like, listen, like when you sign up for OC, you sign up to go play these games, and you want to do it because you love the game and you want to stay in shape and play high level polo. It's like, don't matter to us. Like, we'll go do it. It's just like you hit this threshold of sort of a critical point where it like becomes a little bit too much to get down to OC every weekend. I hope in the future we'll have Northern California competitions where we can have more weekends, get more games with great teams, but do it in our backyard, and obviously travel down to OC a couple times or whatever to make that work. So see where it heads in the next couple of years.
Eric, LA Athletic Club has its own obstacle in its path to become competitive with the likes of the storied New York Athletic Club and Olympic Club, needing to gather the highest level of talent possible, which means that you're not always picking from guys in the backyard of Los Angeles. You're taking them where you can get them, which means you don't have a truly centralized group that's training regularly like the Olympic Club. Talk to us a little bit about that challenge and how you resolve that and bring guys together to form a team.
Yeah, that's a great question, Clay, and it's probably the most difficult part of leading this group of guys, is getting everybody to mesh and mold together by the time finals comes around. And like I said earlier, where I'm grateful that we have a few black eyes and some cuts going through our play through National League, it's really helped mold and push the guys to come together, right? We've had a lot of really difficult games. It's been really tough. And it's forced the cream to rise to the top, right? And so I'm feeling really confident that that's getting the job done. We've had our most important players, I'd say, in the water the majority of the weekends. And the more that they have our gear on, the more that they compete for us, the more that they're fighting for the LA Athletic Club, the more bought in they are, right? And the closer they become. And obviously outside of the pool, doing dinners together. Wesley is the general manager of the club, right? And I can't say that I'm everything when it comes to pulling these guys together. Our general manager does a fantastic job of making sure that there's events, that there's dinners, that they get a full experience with the LA Athletic Club. That's what we believe to be, uncomparable to anywhere else. And that really gets people's buy-in with the club. And that's the biggest thing is they need to believe that it's important. They need to feel that it's important, not that it's just an all-star team, but that the LA Athletic Club does have the goal to become the best premier club team in the United States, right? Just like the Olympic Club has that goal every year and the New York Athletic Club has that goal. And so we do a great job of getting the guys invested in that and wanting to be a part of that. And it's a really fun transformation every single time we get new players coming in, and you can kind of feel they're kind of trying to figure themselves out a little bit on where they fit with the team and the belief of the team. And by the time, these playoffs are coming around, they know exactly where they're at, and you can feel the energy behind how important it is to them. So I think it's going well.
Yeah. Eric and Colin, you guys have both been playing in the league since its founding in 2015. Eric, you're now on the deck. I'd like to hear a little bit about that transition because, I believe that you still have the talent in you to be playing in the league if you wanted to.
Yes, come on, don't shake your head.
I'll be alone in that opinion. That's totally fine. So I'd like to hear a little bit about like that pull of wanting to enjoy the game and compete as an athlete, but also enjoying it as a coach and your aspirations as a coach.
Yeah. So, look, do I think I have some Colin Mulcahy in me? No, I don't have that, and I know that Colin is a special type of athlete, right? Like a Paul Rudd.
This is the blow up Colin show. Are you enjoying the smoke?
It's true though. There's just like certain athletes, right, that can play in their later years and they continue to improve. And I felt my game really starting to slip, and I felt it starting to slip rather quickly. I'm a guy that has to be in the water every single day and has to have a ball in his hand every single day. Otherwise, I wasn't the most talented player out there. I was, just like I was a hardworking guy that did a lot of the dirty work, right? And that's one of those guys that just, you got to be in the water every day. And once that started slipping, well, so did my play. And I love coaching. I love coaching as much as I do playing. And so I came to a quick realization that I could be a coach and a player and only get worse as a player and not improve much as a player or as a coach. So I'm not going to be very good at either one. Or I can give up the cap and go, hey, I'm going to buy in 100% into being the best coach that I can possibly be, because there's only room of improvement there, right? So much of that is mental and just mental exercise and learning experience on the deck. And it's been a wonderful transition. I was a little concerned about going from a teammate to a head coach with some of the leaders on our team, right? Like Mark Vonderwijk, Bryce Horman, Miles, Shrita, Johnny, right? Like these guys have been around for a long time. And that was a little concerning for me, but man, they answered to the call. And it really meant the world to me, the amount of respect they had for me, obviously as a leader on the team, and then straight into coaching. And of course, it's not like I just started coaching, right? I've been coaching water polo since I was 15 years old, right? I've been doing it for a really, really long time. So it just seemed like a natural transition. And look, I've made a lot of mistakes as I've taken on this role, but I feel like I'm getting better each and every game. It's like I say to you guys all the time, it's my favorite thing I do in my life is coach these guys. It's the best.
Yeah. Colin, if you can imagine a time where you might someday not be playing in the National League, just imagine with me, do you see yourself stepping into a coaching role for Olympic Club?
No clue. I mean, I love coaching. It's hard to know what life brings. I think like my first love is playing. I always loved coaching too. Did a bunch at Cal and did it afterwards as well. Love being. I mean, I'll always be involved in the sport in some way, shape, or form. What form that takes at what point in my life, I have no idea. Want to play for as long as life permits and my body holds up and my mind holds up. Also the sort of role that you take on at OC, like I remember playing with Corker and Varellis and all these guys that were they won't admit it, a decade older than me at that point, but they throughout the years in OC they sort of played whatever roles they were given or the team needed to sort of see out of them. So we'll see what that looks like as time goes on. And I love the club. OC is an amazing place. I'll see whatever whatever role I can play to be helpful there, whether it's coach, play, just help in the backgrounds, I'll play it. So we'll see what happens.
Love that. Wes, anything else?
Yeah, we like to open this up. Appreciate you guys taking the time and spending the evening with us here to talk about this stuff. I mean, I think we could talk about water polo between the four of us for a very long time.
Yeah.
We'll open it up here, right? Like, I think we like to say the studio is yours to talk about whatever it is you want to talk about, and take, a minute soundbite for yourself. Colin, why don't you start, and Eric, you can close this out.
What a great prompt to open up the floor for just water polo talk. I don't know. I don't have anything crazy to say. I'm stoked for the final weekend. It'll be great to have, an awesome. I think one thing this actually goes to the sort of general, quality of National League. I think it really does matter where we hold these events. You can always tell the weekends at Cal and even Wool, it's a great facility. And like when we have them at sort of places that have a good water polo sort of aura about it, it matters. And I've not actually been to Mt Sac, but I heard from a bunch of people that's an awesome venue.
It's nice.
Stoked to play there, and I'm glad we nailed down a solid place to have a proper final and have people in the stands and all that good stuff. So
we are
need to do
anticipating
more of that in the
5,000 people.
We'll see what happens.
He's like, I'll see it when
I'll see it when I believe
see
it.
There used to be a movie, I guess, a long time ago. If you build it, they'll come. We'll see if that. We'll see if that is the case in USA Water Polo National League.
Yeah, Eric, what do you got?
First off, just thank you so much for having both Colin and myself. Colin, I really hope that you win your quarterfinal. I hope that we win our quarterfinal. And LA Athletic Club, Olympic Club semifinal is what I believe might be the best product in National League that can be given. It's going to be some really high level play if we can both get out there. Obviously, have a big name coming out to play as well. And Colin, you guys, this is probably your guys' best team you've had in several years as well, looking really, really strong. So I hope we both get out there in the semis and that everybody comes out to watch that game. If you play water polo, if you think about water polo, if you're thinking about playing water polo, if you're 10 and under to an 8 under, whatever it is, if LA Athletic Club and the Olympic Club make the semifinals and you're not out there, you're not the lover of the game that you say you are. That's going to be some of the best product that you can get in the USA. And with the passion that both the clubs have, obviously that you can see in just in the conversation here. So that's all I would say is get your butt out to the semifinals, assuming we're both out playing that game. So really looking forward to it, Colin, as long as we both, make it.
Awesome. Well, thank you both again for taking the time. Appreciate you guys spending it with us, sharing it with us. Good luck. It's, under a month. So we'll look forward to seeing both of you guys. A lot of work to do. So stay in shape, guys. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
That was fun. That was different.
I was hoping for more animosity. I thought maybe they'd get into it, but they were very cordial, very professional.
This is public facing. If we're behind closed doors, it might be a little bit of the brawl, as you like to say. But yeah, very cool. Thank you, Colin and Eric, for hopping on the show.
Yeah, amazing opportunity. I think as we march towards National League finals here in a month, it's a unique opportunity to get some of these men who are out of college on the show and talk about what's going on. As a reminder, everyone, April 25th, 26th, and 27th is National League Finals. We are so excited for this. Be sure to check us out on Instagram. And of course, always check back at our YouTube. We are going to be dropping some incredible news. We're doing more player profiles and more releases, more press releases as we build up to the National League Finals. So we're going to be as active as we can. We really, truly believe in this. Remember, we do this podcast because we love this stuff. And we hope that you love it too. And so I hope you love it enough to come out to National League Finals. Check everything out. Again, free admission. We'll look forward to seeing everybody next week. Remember, life is short.
Score goals.
Take care, everyone.